Page 8. I feel like I could almost do page 8 today and finish it. I've got just 2 panels left. That's nothing, right? And if we count these 3 as the first half and these 2 is like, that's almost half. It's just a half, right? Like yesterday I even said halfway done. That just depends on how complicated they are. I know this is drawn wrong. It's just a draft. You know, it's just pencils. If you remember what this looked like yesterday, though, you can see I've already redrawn it once. What's wrong about it is the top of the head. I think I made it way too high. She had this big egg head. I changed the expression on her face. I took the arm on this side and I put it down and put this arm up. So I changed the pose. And these are all decisions that you can make before you commit to something. Oh, look at that. Look at those googly eyes, right? So I did that wrong. Let's take a look. I think that's a little bit better. You can always do a little flip just to see if we're still in balance. And I think we're okay right now. I think I just need more features on the face before I know for sure. She doesn't have a lot more features. She just has the mouth. I like the idea of making the mouth wider than the lips, right? And I also like the idea of darkening the upper lip entirely, but I think that what I need to do is that. I'm going to go simple. Always as simple as possible. And one thing I haven't done is her eyebrows, and I mean, I guess we could say that those are eyebrows that I've got down here. I think they are. What else is missing? Her antennas. I've gotten, I'm working on this and I got about 9 pages to go. I had an idea for what I might do for my next cartoon. So I still have this kind of notion that I want to do a daily comic. And, maybe it'll go on Webtoon or Canva or Canvas or Comic Fury or something. This could be done as a daily. Each page could be maybe not a daily, maybe more like a weekly. That's kind of how Sideburns is doing his. This sort of one-page updates. By the way, Sideburns Strip is up at ducklingstar.thecomicseries.com. And I think it's a cool way to go. I do think, even when doing comic books, as opposed to like a web comic or something, or a daily, it's a good idea to have your page, I've said this many times, to have your page be one story beat, where you could start anywhere. You could kind of follow what's going on. For example, if you just started following my channel, you can say, okay, yeah, there's an alien that has landed on this planet. She's annoyed. And then at the end, a robot comes out. And that's fine. Kind of has a beginning and an ending. And it would give you more context if you read the previous ones, and you'd know more, and you're hopefully we're going to continuously provide exposition without being too redundant so that new people could come in, right? And it would flesh out more and more details. One of the great pieces of Jim Shooter's wisdom was, every comic is somebody's first comic. All right. So you can see I've already left the hand here. We're going to leave this one pinky up. And it's just like, well, we could do this finger too. Let's leave 2 fingers up. Nope, I don't like that one. The other fingers we're going to leave out. I think that kind of works, actually. Okay, when you've got... Oh. I think I have her head off-center. What do you think? I think I do. I think we could fix this pretty quickly with the strap. And if that's where the strap is, that means the boob is off, too. Sorry, what would we call that? A more polite term. But it's, whatever it is, this drawn wrong. That's okay right there. You don't want to give her a big football player neck, but you want to kind of work. These cross contour lines are actually part of the design. And let's take a look at it without pencils. Okay. Is her head too big? Somewhat. I think it might be. But I think it's the right size for the panel, so maybe it's really her body that's too small. All right, let's take it. I think we can just give it just a bump down. Something like that. And we're probably okay. This area over here is going to be covered by a speech balloon. I think the hand is wrong too. Oh, it's going to take me a long time before I get this stuff right. My excuse is that I'm still a student of the comic art form. Still trying to figure this stuff out. Let's say if we take... How is that going to help? This line. Put it right here. Just a bit. There we go. Okay. Now, why did I do that, or why did I do that specific pacing? It's because we want to use this panel border on this balloon and this panel border on that balloon. Okay, this kind of necessitates fixing up a little bit of stuffs. There we go. I think it's her shoulder maybe that was the problem all along, was the shoulder placement. I think this is okay to begin with. Let's give it a shot. Bubbles. Tech pen. We're hiding the line inside the panel border. This is just so we can get the flood fill correct. And then drop it in. Boom. Okay. And then, oh, by the way, I did the background here with the tones, and I think it looks good, and I think I might do something similar here. I could also, this might be a good place to do focus lines. But she's not that upset. She's at a, you know, if we were to count, she's upset, but it's like a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10. You need to reserve your focus lines for 7 and above, I think. All right, same deal here. Come on now. No, terrible. All right, let's try it this way. So yes, I am. This is okay, but it's tangenting. So let's redraw that line one more time. Okay. I'm going to have to redraw her scorpion tail here. Okay. Moving down to the ink layer. And the rusty nib. So we can easily fix it. Okay, so, but the problem is, low contrast panel, I don't like them like this. We could put in a background, but there's not much to draw. There's some trees and things in the background. So we have a third option, which is to just put something in the background, you know, an abstract shape, an abstract pattern. And that's what I think I'm going to try and do. I'm going to go into the tones layer. If we had this in color, it would be really easy to just do this in a contrasting color, you know, put it into magenta or, you know, yellow or blue or something, depending on what the previous panels had gone into. We don't have that option, so we're going to do this one. Which is sort of the gentlest possible tone here. We want to give her a nice line around her. There we go. And hopefully it doesn't look like offensively, you know, like, what is he doing? Now we could go right up to the edge. And do a tight one. It might look better. Here's a tight one. We're going to go ahead and You know, maybe we do just like just a slight edging all around. I like to look at it both ways. A lot of times when I'm working in my sketchbook and I put a character on a colored background, I'll get like a white gel pen or something, and we just do like a little white pen, a white outline on the character, and it really makes the figure pop out. You know, I think it's hard for me to wrap my creative mind around a posed figure as opposed to a character that's in sequential motion. I'm much more suited to the comics version. Most people have the opposite problem. They want to draw the characters, you know, in a superhero pose, which I don't do. My superhero pose, it looks like a yoga pose or something, you know, as they're leaping through the air. I'm in the tones layer. You know, like Superman will be, you know, perfectly flexed, you know, maybe even actually like flexing his muscles, you know, or something. You know, Batman will be in a combat crouch, just glaring out at the world, you know, staring off into the middle distance or something like that. Like I don't do those poses. Those are for somebody else. And I think that's what 90% of superhero art has just become, these sort of posed tableau things. Yeah, I kind of like it with the tight one on there. I can fix this. I think that's fine. That seems okay. All right. I got to get under the arms here. Oops. Now this panel, it's pretty good. Where are we at? 17 minutes? About halfway. Um, this panel, I had a notion to do this. Tell me what you think. Just shout it out at your screen as you're watching this. Um, oops. I had the idea of going borderless on this, so this would have these 4 panels, and then this would be open at the bottom. And I think that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to leave that open like that. Get back into the ink layer. Get back into the rusty nib. Okay. And we actually see the egg sort of rise into the air. And I kind of borrowed some of this idea from like the Transformers robots in the 80s. They had a comic book. Well, from the clip, and they didn't go into a whole lot of detail on the transforming sequences. It would just show the robot, and then like a little of energy effect, and then the car, or the car, then the energy effect on the robot. It didn't go very far. Now I want to go further than that, but I don't know if I can draw this thing unfurling. So I'm doing kind of my version of that, which is it's going to hover off the ground. And it's gonna, here's our energy effect. And I'm gonna show the, oh, I've got it backwards. Kidneys need to be facing outward like that because it, like I said, it turns into his chest plate. And we want to give the reader like the sense that, you know, this thing is growing and changing and like pieces are coming off and rearranging themselves. Like if you saw the movies, the Transformer movies, it's one part that they really get right. It happens so fast, you know. You can't really even make logical sense of what's happening in it, but it looks great, you know. You're like, oh, okay, you know, and suddenly it's another robot. Change from a truck into a robot or whatever. Did anybody see the Transformers Beast Rangers movie, Beast Formers? I think it was. I actually enjoyed that one quite a bit. All right, here's the reasons I liked it. So, spoiler alert, I'll just tell you. So, first of all, it introduced the, what were the Beast guys called? They weren't called Beast Form. Were they called Beast Formers? They're not considered Transformers. They're from a different planet. So it wasn't Decepticons and Transformers or Autobots and Transformers. It was like they're a different species from a different time. And, you know, introducing new lore. So it kind of expands the universe a little bit. This had nothing to do really with the Decepticons. Okay. Oh, important part about Scimitar's head here is it's black. It looks like it's been dipped in oil or like set on fire or something. I don't know why it looks like that. It's like when I was drawing this character originally. It's just one of those details that I really liked. Okay. We're going to use the same kidneys, but they're upside down this time. Maybe it's implying that the whole thing is, like, if you're really following it, you can see the two shapes consistently moving. So if you were following it, you would be able to imply, oh yeah, it turned upside down as it was changing. It lost its general egg shape. And then we're finally going to get Scimitar. Now, this is my first time drawing him in the comic. So I've got to figure out this character correctly. I didn't want him with a big frown. think his mouth goes all the way around. Whoops. He's got this sort of Lego peg head. I want him to be like iconic. Like I want him to be a design that people would want to graffiti onto a side of a subway car or something. So the idea that we're going to give him this recognizably, you know, like if we just left it at the shape. I think by adding the sort of oil dipped head kind of thing, it makes it even more distinctive. Like the shape is enough almost. All right. And good. And then we can finally see him in his full form. He's a very simple looking robot. And one of the important things I want to show in this story is that Centaur is constantly being underestimated. He is very capable. But you'll always be, hopefully, as a reader, like you'll be surprised. You're like, I didn't think he could handle that. And it's not because he's super powerful, it's because he's got other good qualities. He's courageous, he's smart, he's creative. Oops. He's resilient. I'm gonna have to do something about his legs because I've already gone off the mat in that direction. Oops. All right, please like, follow, and subscribe, and I will talk to you later.